all right, listen, guys, just checked in, and I realize now that I'm on live and making a fool of myself a little bit. So I'm okay with that. I love kids, and she's great. And she sings with a choir with her school and stuff like that. And I'm gonna bring her up and be her manager when she gets older, and put her out singing jazz, all kinds of things. But right now, we're back on, and a lot of you guys, I love you guys. I understand you're fighting who's saying Merry Christmas, Happy New Year's, and but I gotta say it. I hope you guys tomorrow have a good 4th of July, have a good barbecue. Be careful with the fireworks. We used to enjoy that. I used to enjoy that as a kid, growing up. Even when I was in the streets, we used to throw a big 4th of July party and blow off different stuff and the whole neighborhood. One day I got in trouble. There was 1,500 people came by my house to see the stuff we set off. We set off stuff that the professionals would use. We brought a truck down. We'd have free barbecue in front of the house. I thought, 100 people, 200 people. We got 1,500 people. Cops came, fire department came. So that was the last time I did that. I did it once. And I got a little bit of trouble, nothing big. So, I'm supposed to say this again, which I will. I got my new streaming platform, All Things Mafia, Prison Mafia, Mafia News Station, totally uncensored. But let me tell you even more. I'm working on The Bullpen, which is a Mafia news station, and I got some real heavyweights coming in with me. I think there's going to be 4 of us on the news station, me and Anna, and 2 surprise guesses. I'm not going to tell you who they are right now, and I just got an okay from both of them. Would love to be on the show with me. So we're going to do it like a regular news station. I have some connections with the news media. They're going to send me information, so I have factual information to talk about. And we're going to have it maybe twice a week. This is still up in the air, whether it's once or twice a week. I'd like to have it on a Tuesday, every Tuesday, and every Friday. So we're going to see. I'm working on that, and it'll be on our website, ourthing.tv. And a lot of you guys joined up. I'm glad you're here. Be patient with me. We're working on a lot of stuff that's going to come out. So just be a little patient while you're paying that fucking $4.99. I'm not taking it that easy. I'm trying everything to make it great. So let's have some questions that didn't get answered. Let's start with that. And I always like to start with that first.
Yeah, thank you, Sammy. Okay, we had quite a few questions from, well, not quite a few, but enough. We start with AR-15 aim point. Sammy, did you know Michael, what did we say it was? Tassetta? Mad Dog?
Mad Dog?
Mm-hmm.
Do we have any idea what family he came from? Is Tassetta?
I think so, yeah.
Was he from Philadelphia, from New York? And what family? I knew a few guys who were called Mad Dog. I didn't know them personally. But I knew 2 of them. One was from out of town, and one was from New York. So
well, he put NJ here. I don't know if he's saying that Mad Dog was from New Jersey or he is.
I don't recall. I don't recall the guy. I know the name, and I heard of 2 of them who called that Mad Dog.
No worries. We have Matt Carney. Although the Mafia can be a somewhat ruthless place, can close bonds be made with others, or do you always have to keep one eye open, as it were?
The Mafia is ruthless, but I had contacts, and I'm sure every mafioso had contacts in the neighborhood with legitimate people, friends, associates, and just the neighborhood itself. Every neighborhood I lived in, I knew the whole neighborhood. All my neighbors were friends. Like I said, I had that party, 1,500 people. They weren't in the Mafia. They were just legitimate people came with their kids to see the fireworks and stuff. So, I mean, we weren't ruthless outside of the Mafia. We weren't ruthless all the time in the Mafia. When you broke rules, you got killed or something else would happen. But we weren't ruthless all the time. I dealt with a lot of guys who were tough guys, and they're sweethearts. They help people. They do a lot of good things. They're funny, a lot of them, a lot of good times. So it's not always ruthless. And I didn't have, always looking back. If you do the right thing and you're honorable, you don't have to look back all the time. It's when you're sneaky. You do underhanded things. In your mind, you're always questioning, I wonder if they found out. I wonder what'll happen. And those guys look at, always looking back. Obviously, when I was involved in a few wars, I looked over my shoulder a little bit. I mean, we were in an actual war. There's people supposed to kill us, and we're supposed to kill them. That's what a war is. So, of course, I watched my back during those periods of times, but not all the time. I didn't carry a gun all the time. So.
Okay, great. I've got a lot of people in the chat saying that Mad Dog was with the Lucchese family, Jersey.
I heard of him, and that's what I thought. I thought he was with the New York families. I heard of him, but I don't think I ever dealt with him. But like I said, there's two guys, Mad Dogs, I heard. One of them was close with the Genovese people, and he was way out of town. I'm not sure where he was from, Providence or Pennsylvania or somewhere. And he was with Shinjiganti.
Okay. All right, we have Bill Curtis. Were you surprised Whitey got caught? I thought he was, I don't know what that word is. It's an abbreviation. He said, I thought he was something or dead. I despise him now. Didn't know about that stuff. This is from Bill, your loyal Boston soldier.
Listen, Bill, Whitey was, he was a confidential informant for years. He had a license to kill and do things. Finally, those FBI agents told him it's over, and they were going to come for him. That's why he went on the lam. Now, he took a woman who was his gumata, and he took off with her. Maybe not at the same exact time, but she caught up with him, and they lived together for years. I think he was on the lam for like 18 years, 16 years, something like that. How he got caught was this. The FBI had, all these posters, most wanted. They had him on the most wanted list, all kinds of things. They couldn't get him. But his girl, his gumata, through the years aged, and they were cool. They were staying away, stayed out of trouble. One day his wife went to a beauty parlor, and what the FBI did, you know how when they get your picture when you're young, and they now age you what you would look like 15, 18 years later? Well, they put that on about her. And a woman in a beauty parlor recognizes, says, oh my God, that looks like her. An older woman, of course, but it looks just like her. And told the police. That's how they got him, through her. And he got caught. He had a couple 100,000 with him still, stashed a whole bunch of guns and shit like that. But he lived very, very low-key with her. And they got caught. Whitey got killed in prison. And you're right, he was a piece of shit, really. And then his gumata, I think she went to prison as well for harboring a criminal, some bullshit charge. I don't think she did a lot of time. She may even be out by now, I hope. But that's how he got caught.
Great. Okay, we have Sodon. Sammy, hope all is well. Sammy, what are your thoughts on Ronnie One Arm and the husband and wife team, Tommy UVA and wife, that were robbing Mafia social clubs? Much love and thank you. P.S. When are we going to see you cook something?
Yeah, we're waiting about another year or two before I start cooking. I let my son do the cooking, but let me get back. I knew about that husband and wife team that was sticking up clubs. I believe Ronnie one arm. He was born with one arm. So when you're born like that, you become very effective with that one arm. It's not like it was chopped off years later. And he was very dangerous, tough guy, did work. He got made with the Gambino family. Under Nicky Carrazzo was his captain. I believe he went after them. I'm not sure now. I can't recall if they caught them and killed them or they got away. I'm not sure. But that was that case. And I think Ronnie was very close to getting them. Maybe he did get them and killed them. I know he had a reputation of going after them.
Great. We have Omar Delgado. Why was it called the Bergen Hunt and Fish Club? I can't picture John Gotti in camo, LOL. Who in the life hunted?
Well, I don't think John Gotti ever hunted. I'll be honest with you. I never heard of it. The Bergen Hunt and Fish, in other words, you had to get a license to have a legitimate club. So they can't say it's a mafia club. So they always put something, a hunting club, a political club. They make up some names to open up a club. So it was made up. But John, I don't think ever hunted. There's a lot of guys in the life. Tato's son, Charlie Boy, was a great white hunter. Louis Molito, me and him used to hunt when we was kids. I hunted. A lot of guys, I believe, did go hunting that were in the mafia. It had nothing to do with the mafia or killing. It's a sport. You went, and it was a good way to get away. We used to go to a French place, and everybody would stay there. No, not everybody. A lot of guys would stay there. Dadus. All the people were French. And we stay there. We play cards at night. We go 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock in the morning and go hunting. I remember one morning I got up about 4 o'clock in the morning. At the break of dawn, we were in a Jeep. I went up into a mountain, got out, and I was sitting on a hill. It's going down. The wind is blowing at me. They can't smell you when the wind is blowing in your face. If it's blowing the other way, they can smell you. You're not going to see them. I sat there with a thermos with some coffee and bullshit, and I looked down, and there was a buck. Started to come up the hill. I never got a deer. I was never able to get one. I was never lucky. I'm always gambling or doing something else, and it was just a fun trip to go away. But I picked up my gun, had a scope on it. I saw his little black nose, little whiskers, and he was smelling up with his head. Couldn't smell me. Oh. And I had him. I had him cold. It was a 4-pointer, not a big one. And he came up a little closer. The scope was such a good scope on this rifle. I actually saw his little eyelashes and stuff. And I said to myself, what the fuck am I doing, bro? I'm going to kill this thing, to put him over the hood of my car, go home and brag I got a deer. I put the gun on my lap. I looked at him, and I said, I'm going to go back to the cabin. Dadu's wife, Annie, French woman, I wanted to see if I could go back while everybody was out hunting so I could bang her. So I clapped my hands a little bit. The deer looked up, looked right at me, 150 feet away. Dead shot. I could kill him in 2 seconds. I put the thermos down, picked it up. The thing kept looking at me. And I said, come on, bro. I'm giving you a shot. Get the fuck out of here. It turned around, pranced away. I went back, and I went back to the cabin. I said, I'm not going to sit out here freezing my ass off waiting for a deer. And nobody believed me when I went, and people were laughing and joking with me and whatever. And I don't think I ever went hunting again.
Do you think you would have?
Shot him?
Yeah. I mean,
that's the whole, it's a sport, and you go out, you're killing something beautiful, really, but it helps. In other words, there's too many deers.
Yeah.
and they'll die. So they give you licenses to calm the population of deer down. So it's actually a good thing all the way around. It wasn't that. It was just that the thing was so beautiful. It was just looking at me, and I was just so innocent. It's not that I couldn't pull the trigger. I just didn't want to. I said, I'm not going to sit up here freezing my ass off year after year to kill an animal. I'm not going to do it. So I went back to the thing. I never got Annie. When I went back, she said, how come you home so fast? I said, Annie, I came back for you. She said, that dude finds out, he'll kill us both. I said, well, and I went to bed, took a nap, got up, played cards, didn't get any, didn't get laid, nothing happened.
Oh my God.
Didn't get the deer. So then I quit hunting.
Well, I'm very happy that you didn't kill the deer. I was really sad. And Anna's in the chat too. She had one of those like emojis where it's like, oh, the deer, no.
Yeah. Well, I tell you the truth, I felt that way, looking at it. It's just like Amina's daughter sitting on my knee singing that song. When they're young, they're so innocent, and there's a beauty about that, whether it's an animal, a person, kids. I just have a weak spot for those things, and I love them. So I just didn't want to do it.
Great. Okay, we have Kenneth Burdett. Hey, Sammy, just wanted to ask you, how come everyone always called you Sammy when your first name is Salvatore? If you don't mind me asking.
No, I don't mind at all. My mother's brother, her older brother, he was Uncle Sammy. And when I was a kid, 4 or 5 years old, they would say, well, look, he looks just like Uncle Sammy, and he's little Sammy. I got that name within my family. My mother even told when I went to school that I was called Sammy. I react to that. I don't react too good to Salvatore. Even the teachers in the school would call me Sammy. As years later, when I was fighting for my bike, I got the label The Bull, so I became Sammy the Bull, and that's the way the name Sammy came about, and that's the way the Bull came about. So, and till today, I have that name.
Got it.
I had a woman in the gym today. Let me tell you the story. I had a woman in the gym. I was in the gym. I was in a jacuzzi. A woman came, older woman, probably in her 50s, 60s or whatever. She got in the gym and she pointed to me and she says, you're Sammy? So I said, no. I said, listen, I get that a lot. I must have looked like him or something, but I'm not Sammy. She says, it's crazy. Everybody in the gym, thinks you're Sammy. So when she said that, I laughed a little bit. I said, listen, I was only goofing. I am Sammy. And she didn't even know what to say or do. And so I just didn't want to have a long conversation. So I don't know why I said that. No, it's not me. I'm not Sammy. Well, but I did like a jerk. But and then I confessed to it.
Like a jerk.
Like a jerk. So.
Okay. I have Keith Gilbert ask, where do you think you would be today if Frankie DeChico became boss? Or if you became boss? I think it's an interesting question. I know it means nothing, but I would love to hear your opinion.
Well, I had no intentions, I'll start off with myself, of being the boss. I was very happy in the position. I was an acting captain. I had money. I had power. I was well liked, well respected. All made a lot of mistakes. This whole thing with John Gotti came up with the tapes and everything like that. I actually didn't want John to be the boss. I wanted Frankie DeChico to be the boss. That's one of the main reasons that I shook Frankie's hand. He wanted to do this takeover. I wouldn't let him do it alone. I was like this with him. If he had a problem, that's what friends do. If he had a problem with somebody, it's my problem too. So I wouldn't leave him alone. I went with it. I did have a problem with Paul, something about my family I'm not going to get into. I did do a video about it, but I don't really want to discuss it now. So I had two reasons, and if Frankie would have took over, so I had no intentions of being the boss. I didn't care one way or another about being the boss. But if Frankie would have, I wanted him to take over. I think it would have been better. I think it would have been more secretive. I don't think we would have took as much heat as John. That flashiness, trials, publicity, it killed all of us. They used Angelo's tape in the commission case and stuff like that. I'm getting more and more information on all these things, even now. And most of it I know. But John was the wrong choice. But I agree with Frankie. He probably wouldn't have been a good underboss. There would have been arguments, and I don't know. It's a tough question. It's a good question. It's a tough question to answer. I think we would have lasted a little bit longer. We wouldn't have took as much heat. Frankie was very quiet. He didn't get caught on bugs. I got caught on bugs in my office, 9,000 hours of tapes, but no one was hurt by my tapes. We talked about bullshit. Construction, football game, basketball game, baseball game, a woman, how gorgeous she is, look at her ass, or this and that. Stupid shit. Nothing to hurt anybody but.
Great. Okay, one more from Bill Curtis, and then we'll hit the super chats. Hi, Sammy. Out of all of you guys and friends that you had in the life, if you could only pick one guy, I know that will be a very tough one for you, to walk down a dark alley with, who would it be?
Well, it wouldn't be one guy, for sure. It would be Sammy, and it would be the old man Peruta. And I really don't even want to leave out my other guys. I had a young guy, Johnny Holmes, with me. There was a bunch of guys, Michael DeBat, Nicky Cowboy. I mean, I had a large crew. But for sure, Stymie and Joe Peruta, I'd be super comfortable. And my Gumbada Alley boy, but he was with another family. And it wasn't in my crew. But my Gumbada Alley, I would trust him. I don't care what family he belonged to. We were Gumbadas. He was godfather to my daughter. And I trusted him with my life.
Yeah.
I answered that with 3 people.
You did. Yeah, you did. Okay, let's jump into the super chats. By the way, if anybody's wondering, Anna's on vacation. Lucky girl she is. So I'm filling in for her today.
Oh, poor Mina.
Stop.
She's all alone.
Stop.
All right.
all alone.
All right. Good.
So Anna sent you a couple of nice little envelopes for you. She misses you. She says, Sammy, we know how much you love America. Tell us your favorite 4th of July memories.
Well, one of the good ones I got, this comes to me all the time. You know, I used to get a lot of fireworks, truckload of fireworks on the 4th of July, blow them up a little bit. One year I got all those stuff that the big companies get. We stole it, and you could shoot them up. They go hundreds of feet up in the air and they explode, all this stuff. So I threw a 4th of July party at my house. And we invited the neighbors and everything like that. Word went out that I had a lot of fireworks and I was going to explode things. I had a guy with a barbecue. I had a truck with free ice cream for the kids. All kinds of little things I got. One of those big tents where the kids jump in and jump around and without getting hurt.
House?
Yeah. So we wound up getting 1,500 people. Staten Island, the word went out to everybody. I wound up getting 1,500 people. We did the fireworks. Police came down. Fire department came down. I got a little bit of trouble for it. It was in the newspapers. The Staten Island Advance wrote an article about it. And too much publicity. That was the last 4th of July party I had.
Were you out there grilling for 1,500 people, Sammy?
No, not me grilling. I had guys and things coming in. You know, I had a guy out the door of my house because people were coming in the house. So I grabbed one of my guys. I said, who is all these people coming in the house? He says, I don't know. They want to look at the inside. What is it, like an open house? So I said, no, you got to tell people, I live here, bro. It's not for sale or nothing. You got to stop people at the door. So, and remember, my daughter came back. She said, You got two goons by the door. They won't let me in the house.
Oh my God.
So I went. I said, she's my daughter. Oh, you can let in. So that was the 4th of July that I'll never forget.
Awesome. Poor Karen. I can't even imagine.
Yeah.
Okay, JB Weld. Did your crew have a name? I heard some crews had nicknames.
My crew was called Sammy the Bull's crew. That I never heard of a different name for them. But, most of the guys, not most, but a lot of the guys came from when we were at the Rampers together and growing up. I still had a lot of those guys with me and close with me. But I don't think we were called anything more than that, Sammy the Bull's crew. From Tallies. We had that, obviously.
Yeah.
Or Doc's Bar when we were staying in Doc's Bar before we went to Tallies. But I never really heard of a nickname for the place.
Got it. J. Marie. Hey, Sammy, was there any beef between crews that got crazy, and how would something like that be handled? Hey, J. Marie.
It would be a sit down. It would be a very serious sit down. I'm going to tell you one little story quick so you can hear it.
Yep.
I was just made not too long, and I was in a club. I was talking with a couple of girls. One of the girls, her boyfriend was a biker. I forgot his name. And I was talking to the other one and stuff like that. And I heard this guy was a maid guy in the Genovese family, and he was ripping into Joe Watts in front of everybody. And I walked over and I told the guy, I said, listen, bro, I talked to him quietly. I said, he's with the old man, meaning Paul Castellano. He's with the boss. They do this in front of people. He said, mind your business. And I got into a beef with him. Mind my business? It is my fucking business. And I just fucking told you that he's with the fucking boss. Raise your fucking voice one more time. We forget about the rules. And a couple of other guys got in the middle of it, made guys, one or two from the Genovese family, and they told the guy, I forget his name. There was a big issue about it. Paul had heard about the argument. It got out. Paul called me in, and he says, you should have punched him right in the fucking face. I said, Paul, we don't raise our hands to friends of ours. But I did everything under the sun. If he would have raised his hands, I would have broke every bone in his body. But, and then Paul called for a meeting. There was Paul, Neil Delacroce, the underboss, and Joe Gal, the whole administration of the Gambino family, met with the people of the Bonanno family. And they reprimanded this guy so bad. And they put him on a shelf. People put him on a shelf for a couple of months. No family recognized him. He was disrespectful to Joe Watts. Not that they gave a shit. Joe Watts wasn't a May guy. But once he was told that he was directly with Paul, and if you can argue or do something, do it on the side, not in front of everybody. And then he came at me by telling me, mind my fucking business. And I already met him as a May guy. So that almost blew up, and it did blow up, and he got punished for that. So that's how they sit down and they have a sit down. Now, if you did something horrendous, you can be killed. But usually we try and straighten it out. There's a lot of sit downs. There's hundreds of thousands of them or tens of thousands that I've been involved in. But that's a quick one to tell.
John Ball has a nice envelope for you. He says, come down to Tucson and do a show.
I went down to Tucson. I met with some people down there. It was about, how long ago was that? About a month?
Yeah, it was about a month ago.
Yeah, about a month and a half ago. It was a tough trip. It's only an hour and a half by car, but something on the bottom came loose in my car. I was shooting nuts and bolts and things all over the place. And I wasn't too crazy about Tucson. So I'd love to come down, but this guy John Ball's a great guy, and if I come down there again someday, John, make sure that we have your number. I'll give you a holler, and it would be my pleasure to sit down and have lunch with you or something, and your family, your son. Yeah, it would be my pleasure.
Do you hear that, John? Shoot your number over. Okay, we have, Anna again. Hey, Sammy, you always gave back to your neighborhood. People were sick and you helped with medical bills and sponsored neighborhood sports. Share with us a story about these times, pretty please.
I don't like to brag, but, there was a lot of things. When we were in Tallies, I sponsored a team, a girls baseball team. And a couple of people, my normal people who criticize everything I do and say that's bullshit. I didn't do that. And the woman is still alive and sent us a picture of her and the team with the shirts on. And all the girls were there with baseball bats and gloves with the T-shirt saying Tallies on it. So I sponsored that. There's a lot of little things I've done like that over the time that, I don't really talk about too much. And I don't like tooting my own horn. Bob was such a wonderful boy.
You were such a wonderful boy. Nice. Okay. We have Ethan Worley. Hey, Sammy, thank you for recommending Arrivederci. My family and I went there. Great food and service. Our waiter, Chu, was amazing. 10 out of 10.
Yeah, a great restaurant. I'm not sure. I was in both restaurants. One was way up north, and one was right in Chandler with Max. I don't think you saw that video yet, so you must be the one that's way up north. There's a guy, Dominic Cirelli, who has his own YouTube channel now. I did an interview with him, and I was in the other Arrivederci down here in Chandler, Max's place. We're working on editing it right now. It should be out on our website, ourthing.tv. It should be out in the next couple of weeks. So that's that one too. So there's two of them.
Okay. The Boss. Is it true that Gotti encouraged Vic Orena to take over the Colombo family from Persico?
He was talking to him to back it. I don't know if he encouraged him right in the beginning. Vic Orena was the acting boss while Carmine Persico was away. The commission told Carmine Persico, you can't put a guy every other fucking week. You put a guy, we'll recognize him as the commission, as being you, as being the acting boss, but you got to leave one guy. We're not going to answer to a guy every other week. So he agreed. He made Vic Orena. Vic Orena became the acting boss, recognized by the commission. He got a little too strong, a little too powerful, and Carmine Persico put out a hit on him, tried to kill him. It didn't work. There was a war. John took Vic's side. So if you call that encouraging, I guess you could say that. He actually, at one point, gave me a contract to kill Greg Scarpa Sr., because that was Vic's biggest opponent. Then he withdrew it. So, he was backing him. But I don't know if he caused the whole thing to happen. I don't want to make it sound like that. I don't think that happened. Once it happened, he took Vic's side.
Okay. We have Dan Tega. Sammy, how does it feel to finally be a civilian after living a high adrenaline lifestyle since a kid back in Brooklyn? Does it bore you at times? Much love.
I mean, I still live a high energy life right now. I must work, without exaggeration, 12 to 14 hours. I'm trying to be moderate, 7 days a week. Saturday and Sundays means nothing to me. I work 7 days a week, 14, 15 hours a day. Holidays don't mean anything to me. I am working in holidays. So I'm working on some movies that it's, a lot of work to even try and put it together and negotiate deals and stuff like that. Money is tough. Doing all of these things that I'm doing all at the same time. So everything has been a fight for me, and I take on the fight, and it's just as exciting. I mean, I don't kill nobody and I don't do any crimes, but it's almost as exciting as the being in the street. Instead of a crew, I have a team. I have great people. Anna, Melissa, Amina, and on and on and on. And we're trying to build more people so we can do more things. So, but I miss the streets. I always do. Because those are great memories. And I don't walk away and erase them and say, no, it was terrible and this and that. There was people in the life that I loved, and I still love them in my heart, even though they're dead and gone. I miss them. I love them, and I'm not going to put them down by saying it was horrible or it was this. Not for me, it wasn't. And everybody could say what they want, however they feel. That's my answer to that, I think.
Great, thank you. So give a shout out to Gilbert Goobies Castro, AR-15 Aimpoint, who's given you envelopes 3 times now in the super chat. No questions or comment.
Great, Castro. I appreciate it so much. With a name like that, Castro, bro. You're not related to the other Castro.
Gilbert Goobies Castro.
Oh, all right.
Okay, we have Kentucky Bubba. Sammy, do you know any connected Chicago guys from back in the day named Antonio Scaliti? He was my dad's door gunner in Vietnam.
So it sounds like he was your door gunner. Is that a military term, I think? So they were probably in the military together and good friends. The military makes, really, really people tight, good friends. I was in the military till today. Actually, I still hear from some of them, believe it or not. Sometimes I'm completely shocked. I'm 78 years old. I got drafted into the military at 19. So maybe I met this person when I was 20. At 21, I came out. So still till today, I hear from some of them, which is an incredible, thing that they're all still alive. And number one. Number two, that they hear me talking and they're on the platform. They'll send me a message or two. So I guess your father and this guy were tight, and that's a good thing. That's a good thing to have. I don't recall his name. I'm not friendly with that many guys in the Chicago family. I knew a few of them, and later on, there was one or two that I met. I met him out here. He cooperated. The way he cooperated and who he cooperated against was his father. I stopped talking to him. I didn't want to talk to him. So, to me, there's a line in life with everything. And certain lines, a child molester. I mean, I've met guys in prison who was a child. I can't swallow being around somebody like that.
Great, thank you, Sammy. I'm just going through the chats right now. I have Addie Morris asking, Mr. Sammy, great respect for you. Do you ever have any worries?
Yeah, I worry that I'm going to turn 79 next March and then 80, and then I worry about shit like that. As far as worried about the mob, I'm really not worried about them. They've changed their whole mentality. There's 100 guys who are walking around. Nobody got whacked. I guess they changed their ways a little bit, which I give my hats off to them. Not because of that it's saving me, but they're taking less heat. They're using their head and not doing these things. These are things that fuck the mob up. And when you're doing things like that, especially in this day and age, you're not going to get away with it. The law enforcement is too smart. Number one, everybody's got phones, bugs, and people cooperate real easy. People cooperate now facing 10 years, let alone a life sentence. So it's not a smart move to do some of those things. So no, I'm not worried about the mob at all. My hat's off to them. They know. I've gotten plenty of messages from guys who never cooperated, and they sending me kudos and nice messages that I'm talking nice about the Mafia and stuff like that. And so no, I have no worries. You worry a lot of times. You know what I worried about? Sometimes, like I forgot his name, one of the Beatles. He had a guy who was stalking him as a friend, and then the guy shoots and kills him. Wackos. So I worry about a wacko. As you become famous, like I said earlier, I got a woman in the gym. I'm sitting in a jacuzzi, and she comes over. You, Sammy the Bull. Everybody knows you here. And it's. I don't go around with my chest out or talk about who I am. And they talk behind my back. A lot of the staff told me the same thing. So I says, who told you? He said, my father told me that, you're Sammy the Bull. I didn't know that. Why? It was one of the staff. He said, but now that I know, a lot of the staff, mostly all the staff know. Everybody knows who you are. They don't come over to you, they don't bother you, but they all know who you are. So that there, you worry about maybe a screwball or something like that. And but I don't spend a lot of time worrying about it. I go to the gym every day. Whether, whatever it's going to be, I'm at the point in my life, whatever it's going to be is going to be. Whether it's a heart attack, old age, whatever it's going to be, it's going to be. We all don't live forever. I never really thought I'd get to this age, let alone any further. But I'm not worried about it.
Let's hope you live to be 100.
Thank you so much.
I have AR-15 aim point. And the super chat again. Oh my God, so sweet. Okay. Remember Spumoni Gardens Avenue X. What was your favorite there? I still have other questions out there. I think I'm driving the girls a little crazy.
All right. What was the question?
Do you remember Spumoni Gardens Avenue X?
Yeah, it was on Stewart Avenue. And Avenue X all the way down. Yeah. I always went to Spumoni's. When I was a kid, it was like a hangout for all teenagers. I got a little fancy car. I had a 1963 Chevy Impala Super Sport with a convertible, white. I went over there trying to pick up girls as a kid. So I always would go there. They had great pizza, great food, and they had some of the best lemon ice. I would always go there. There was a few places that had Rispoli's. There was a few places that had great lemon ices. I used to like lemon ices. I even eat these ice pops now.
Yes, the freezer is full.
The free wall, whatever the name is. But I still like those things.
We have Betty Ann. Hey, Betty Ann. Nice envelope for you. She said, my father shot a moose in the 60s and was hit with a big ass fine just before Christmas. My mom, with 6 children, was not too effing happy. Have a fun 4th, Sammy.
That's my girl, Betty Ann. And, Betty Ann, there was 2 bananas that you gave me, the stuffed bananas. And so I put it on one of the tables and people look at it. What is that? I said, that's me and Betty Ann. And when my dog came one day and just bit it and was shaking his head and playing with the bananas. So I think you like that story. Lily was attacking your bananas.
Oh my goodness. Okay, we have Jack Mancini. Hey, Sammy. What made Sonny Francis such a respected figure in the mob, and did you know him personally?
Did not know him personally. He became the underboss of the Colombo family. He was a true tough guy, and he showed his grit. The guy spent most of his life. He got a 50-year sentence. He didn't do it all, but most of it. Every time he came out, he got busted for some sort of violation and went back. He lived like a man. He died like a man. Michael Franchise is a friend of mine now. That was his stepdad, and I have much respect for Michael Franchise and his family. And he looks at Sonny as a dad, which he should. And so I have respect for him all the way around, but he was a super tough guy. When they put him away, they did a march on the FBI. They were picketing with signs. We started it. Not me personally. I was nothing. I wasn't made. I wasn't anything. But Shorty Spiro grabbed me and his nephew Tommy and said, "You got to come with me. We got to march on the FBI." March on the FBI? What do you mean? We were going to carry signs and picket unfair, that Sonny Franchise was in there unfairly. I believe that's true, that he was. Somebody set him up for some bullshit charges, and he got an extraordinary sentence of 50 years. So I was on that. There was 12 of us on that line. Michael said he was around there too. The thing lasted, the marches and stuff like that lasted for a couple of years. At different times, obviously. I never saw Michael on the lines. I'm a little bit older than him. But Sonny was a hell of a man. He deserves all the respect in the world.
Thank you. We have Spencer. Do you have any memories of when you were in a situation that was so funny, you and your associates were laughing, you were crying and couldn't talk? Think of something that happened to make you laugh like this again right now.
I don't know. There's so many things. I'll tell this one story. We were in Tally's, and one of the guys came over and said, "Sammy, that this woman came into the bar, young girl. She wasn't an old lady, but young girl, and she wants to talk to you and meet you." So I said, "All right." And she's a race car driver. I said, "A race car driver? What do you mean by that?" "She drives racing cars professionally." So I went over, I talked to her, we had a drink and everything, and we got along real good. And we were going to sneak away and go to a motel. We went outside, and she said, "Could I drive?" She took my car. So I said, "Okay." She was driving, I was sitting in the passenger seat. When we left, she hit the gas, and she never took her foot off the gas. We went through major intersections, 65th Street and stuff. She never even slowed up. She must have been doing 70 miles an hour going down 18th Avenue and I was petrified. I had my feet up on the fucking dashboard thinking when it crashes, she's going to kill us. And she was a little drunk. Well, we made it to the hotel, long story short, and we went in. When we were done, we were coming out. She says, "I'll drive back." No. I said, no, I'll drive back. She said, "Sammy, I apologize the way I drove. I was drunk. I'll drive back." Okay. I gave her the keys, like a schmuck. She hit the gas. There's that dip in the thing when you get out of the parking lot. She hit the dip so hard, the car went airborne, sparks flying. She did the same thing going back. When I told the guys in my backyard about it, Huck and all these guys, we were laughing so hard. I had hair back then. I said my fucking hair was standing straight up. Tell this girl never to come here no more. So that's one of my crazy stories.
One of your crazy stories with your guys. Okay, we have Il Gatto. Hey, Il Gatto. Compare salute. Did you go to the Frank Fiala's funeral? Grazie.
No, I didn't. I didn't go to Frank Fiala's. Frank Fiala? Mm-hmm. Oh, no, absolutely not. I thought you said Frankie LaCasio. No. Why would I go to his funeral? I killed him. No, he was a Yugoslavian gang or Czechoslovakia, whatever the hell, some sort of Slovakian gang. and he was a drug dealer, and you know the whole story, tried to take over my building, the whole place. We wound up literally in a battle, and I wound up killing him. So I wouldn't have nothing to do with and I lost so much with that hit. I lost the farm that I had because I got caught in the middle of it, that I took $350,000 under the table. That all came out. I owed the $350,000. The taxes, the tax department was on me. I lost the disco that we had where it happened, the Plaza Suite. They shut the place down. It never reopened as a disco anymore. So I lost everything. I lost a lot. And I almost got in trouble with Paul Castellano because he said I did something off the record, which I guess I didn't ask permission first, but I got through that. I almost lost my life over that whole fucking thing. Yeah. No, I didn't go to his funeral.
We have one more from Anna. Francis said in his book that the Democrats were the easiest to bribe. Is this true?
Without a doubt. Listen, when I was a kid, I was a Democrat because Republicans, conservatives wanted to uphold the law and put us in jail and do this and do that. So who the fuck wanted them? The Democrats were illegitimate. I worked on rigging the election for John Kennedy. That's another whole story. I'm going to talk about the whole Kennedy thing. I got information up the wazoo about it. So yeah, I was a liberal because I wanted to be a liberal, and I was a Democrat, and it was filthy. We had a lot of connections. You could bribe people back then. You didn't go to jail that easy. Once you got hooked up with them, and money talked, bullshit walked with them. The Republicans were more, the good guys who wanted to keep up the laws and do all this and help people. The Democrats were just the opposite. So that's what we were. So I was a gangster. I was a crook. I didn't want the Republicans. I wanted Democrats. So yes, they were filthy back then.
Okay, we have Jason Pratt. If you and Frank got out, you were going to take out John, would you have just taken him out yourselves, or would you have gone to the commission? Who else in the family would have had to go, like his brothers or Junior, or do you think could have sat them down and said, look, he effed up. It is what it is. He's gone. You're either with us or you can join him.
Well, me and Frankie made a deal, Frankie Licasio in prison, to take him out. Frankie wanted to be the shooter. He hated him so much that he wanted to be the shooter. That's all he cared about. And I had told him I don't really give a damn who shoots him. I had a restaurant I used to go to right near the bridge, the Verrazano Bridge. I can't think of the name of the restaurant right now. But we were supposed to have like a victory party. Frankie Licasio would bring him there. I would have it all set up, the back room. Frankie could shoot him. Me and my crew would pick him up and roll him up in a fucking thing, put him in a car, and he would disappear. Then we would say he never showed up. People would say whatever they wanted to say, but that's what we were going to do. But the reality is there was going to be no a victory party. We were so buried with his tapes and everything else, we were dead. We were dead meat. We couldn't beat the case. That's, again, another whole story and I've got all kinds of information with that, real heavyweight information now. And I'll be putting out some more podcasts about all of these things, the Kennedy assassination, a lot of this information. Right now I have so many people saying, respecting me that I don't lie, I don't bullshit. The warden of the ADX, Supermax, we did a major interview with him. He's friendly with me. I have another one that I put out on our thing.com. Michael Vecchione, he was a prosecutor, a head guy in organized crime things, and he's the guy who debriefed a gas pipe, and he knows tons. So, and he might be one of the, remember I told you about the bullpen? He might be one of the guys who talk on our show, one of the newscasters. And another guy, I might as well say his name too, Jay Dwyer. We're talking with him. So there'll be Jay Dwyer, Michael Vecchione, Anna, myself, 4 of us. And like a regular news station with the news, global thing, breaking news, and we'll be sitting there and talking about it, and like a news company. And we're going to go into everything. That's why it's going to be on our thing.tv, because things we're going to say is coming out, and documented stuff. Jay Dwyer is a great guy, a researcher, very, very smart. Shouldn't say he's nerdy, but compared to gangsters, he's not a gangster. Very, very intelligent guy. A little bit nerdy. He's not like me. You're not going to hear the same kind of a conversation. Anna's very well spoken, very smart. Me, I'll be, every once in a while, you'll be a fuck that guy, Otis. So you'll hear that same thing that I talk, how I talk. So I think you guys are going to love that.
All right, Sammy, we are coming up on the hour. Let me just get to these 2 more questions for you and knock them out. Kathleen Lydecker. Sammy, there's a rumor that Tallis location is haunted by dead gangsters. There's a guy on YouTube who posted a video about it. Who do you think is haunting it? By the way, Sammy, I read your books 3 years ago.
Who's haunting it?
I don't know. She's asking you.
Maybe that girl who was a race car driver. Maybe she's haunting it. I'm not sure who's haunting what. I don't know about things like that. I'm talking to somebody myself who does a lot of shows, and I don't believe in that stuff, number one. But number two, the guy I'm talking to, and I don't want to reveal his name or anybody, they put out stories that I believe are pretty accurate. It's crazy stuff. But sometimes things happen. I also told a story one time when I had the coronavirus. I had pneumonia. I got shingles. I was fucked up. And I woke up one night to a voice that told me, "Don't be scared, Sammy." And I answered it. I thought I was in a delusion. I thought something was fucked up. And I said, "I'm not scared." And the voice told me, "Just be you." And I think this Mafia station might be it. And it did happen to me once. So the guy that I'm talking about who does these shows, I may do something with him. And so some of these things make sense. Some of them are just off the charts that it's probably bullshit. But, who am I to know? I don't know. God and all this stuff goes in funny different ways. So you really never know what's the truth or what's not the truth. As long as it's an interesting story, I like it. But when they come up with something, there's a guy I watched on YouTube just recently. So he said that a plane or something crashed in his backyard, and these 2 tall Martians or something came out. Now, I wanted to shut it off and go just get rid of it, because I know it's ridiculous. The thing had 3 eyes. He was probably looking at his sister, who had 3 eyes. But I don't know what he was looking at. So I don't buy that story. There's things I don't buy. Some things that are just hard to believe. Sometimes I see it. I see that what the government is doing. And I know it's hard to believe. And I know a lot of people don't believe it. I believe it. I believe what they're doing. I believe I know what they're doing and why they're doing these things. Why? Because I'm a gangster. Because I did some of the same things. Not as bad as them, but I know crime when I see crime. So all these phenomenons, there might be one or two that are true. Who knows? Maybe more than that. I really don't know. I know that you hear about all these things, flying saucers and all these things, but I do know that some of these things were proven with, fighter pilots or airplane pilots who saw these things that are flying at phenomenal speeds, and we still don't know what it is. So I don't want to play that off like that's some sort of a conspiracy. These are legitimate people talking about these things. I know when I got caught sneaking into someone's house, I tried to get away with it by saying that's a conspiracy theory. But I was sneaking in.
Great, Sammy. Okay, we got one last one. Samuel Chandler. It's his first super chat. Hey, Sammy, upstate. Is it Utica?
Attica.
Why did I spell it with a U, damn it?
Attica.
Upstate Attica, New York here. Do you know any made men with the last name Filippelli? My great-grandfather was made up here. Love ya, Skip.
No, I don't know. I really don't know any people around the Attica. I knew people from Buffalo. I knew the boss. His son was the underboss. He's the boss right now. Let me tell you, this is going to be funny. I did a video with about him going to a meeting, and I went with his son, who was the underboss back then. And me and him, he wanted to be careful, so we went to the beach. And we walked on the beach. I was dressed with my shoes, pants, nice shirt. And we walked to the water. So we're looking out at the water. And I get it. There's no bugs. There's nothing that, you can get caught on tape. But he kept walking. And I followed him into the water. We're talking and walking in. And I didn't say anything. I mean, I was only a captain. He was an underboss. But we got up to a little bit above my stomach, right about my chest. And I told him, bro, you're a lot taller than me. You're a bigger guy than me. We take another 10 steps and I'm going to wind up fucking drowning. How far out are we going to walk? So he, heard me tell this story and got in touch with me and said, Sammy, that's fucking great. I laughed my ass off when I heard it. I owe you a whole outfit. So, and I think he's the boss right now.
Wow, that's great, Sammy.
Yeah.
Okay, let's give a quick shout out to, I am so sorry I'm about to butcher your name. Howell Walk?
Well, Walt.
Yeah, I gave you an envelope, and then take us out, Sammy.
Oh, is he an Indian? Is Powell Walt? That sounds like an Indian name. Is that an Indian?
I don't think it's Indian. No.
All right. I don't know. Listen, I appreciate the envelope, pal, and she butchered up your name. And if we could get unintentionally, she butchered it up. So no, but I appreciate the envelope. Love you guys. Listen,
Tell everybody to hit the like button, Sammy.
Yeah, hit the like button, and when you get on to press subscribe. That's important, especially with the movies that I'm trying to get done. The more subscribers, the better. It gives me a little juice when I'm push, and these big studios, they love seeing them big numbers. It encourages them, and it makes my job a little bit easier. They're going to do it anyway. I hope this union strike is over. I've already told them, quite a few heavyweights, if you want me to go there and negotiate with the union, I'm willing to go. They said, Sam, you don't know these unions out here. So I said, listen, I know unions, and listen, I could go there. I'll make them an offer that they can't refuse. Don't worry about it. They started laughing a little bit. So I hope this strike is over soon. Of course, I'm waiting on that's in my way a little bit. And it's in a lot of people's way. I was telling them, somebody asked me in the business, how would you straighten this out? I said, here's how I would straighten it out. I would go to them and say, listen, You're getting a powerhouse company, some writers. Every one of them are involved, some actors and actresses. They're all making big money. Turn around and tell them, listen, take a little more, make this happen. You know, every deal is a give and take. Give them a little, you give a little, everybody wins. But think about it this way. All those people, the little guys, who are serving food when they're the camera guys, sound guys, all these different people are on the set. They're working from paycheck to paycheck. They're doing not bad, but you're hurting all of them. They're all out of work. How many fucking people are out of work? Think about that when you keep this thing going for months and months and months. They all have families, bro. You think about them and their families a little bit. And then worry about your little greedy asses. Both sides give a little bit. Everything is a give and take. If you go in and you want to get, and you have no intention of giving, that's why these fucking things last forever. Every deal that you make in life is a give and take. That's when they go through pretty smoothly. That's why I don't have a problem with any deals I've negotiated with so far. I always respect what I know what they want, and I want to give them something. I want them to win a little bit, and I want to win a little bit. And I don't have a problem in my negotiations. I'm dealing with some really super heavyweights in Hollywood right now, and it's no problem whatsoever. I'm not having a problem. We talk, we work it out, we talk, you know, and that's how you do it, work with these things. All right, guys, I think it's time for me to go. Everybody's giving me dirty looks.
Hit the likes. Oh, by the way, Powell. Is it Paul? It might be Paul. He's Polish. He just said he's Polish.
Oh, Polish Powell. So, all right, Polak, Pol the Polish.
Oh my God.
Do I have the name straight now? I screwed it up. All right,